It's the other big story. The two men arrested in the Kingdom of Eswatini for their alleged involvement in the killing of rapper Kiernan AKA Forbes and his friend Tebello Tibz Motsoane are expected to appear in the Manzini Magistrates Court today. Now, South Africa is working on having the suspects extradited to face charges of murder and attempted murder here at home. They'll bring to 7 the number of suspects arrested for the brazen crime. AKA and Tibz were shot dead in Durban last year. Our reporter Nhlanhla Jele is part of our team in Eswatini. She's been watching developments for much of the morning, and she joins us once again live from that country today. And Nhlanhla, there's been developments just outside court. What can you tell us?
Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to our viewers at home. As you can see behind me, there's a bit of activity happening outside court. However, this was not in relation to the AKA and Tibz case that we are here for. Earlier on, about 25 or 30 minutes ago, when we were here, right behind me, it was a bit empty with nobody here until we heard sirens and had to move to the other side, where we saw a van and a big truck coming in, and suspects and correctional services employees coming out and stepping inside the court. We also saw the gate was locked with heavily armed men and women carrying big guns, just to ensure that they secure the place where these suspects were coming in. And from there, we had to ask these armed men if whether or not the two suspects are indeed inside, or have indeed been, or were rather part of the people that were coming out of the vans and the big truck that was here. And they did not to us to say yes, the two men have already been brought inside the court. However, as you can see, we are still outside the court. Our other colleagues are inside, just trying to make inroads to see that we can bring the big cameras inside, because earlier on when we arrived, we were told that we are not going to be allowed to broadcast this whole extradition application process that is expected to start this morning. However, we are trying to convince the court manager just to allow us in with our big camera, so that broadcast can be carried out live on SABC News, so that our viewers at home can have a gist of what is going to happen to these two suspects. Otherwise, we did say that we will keep them up to date with tweets and Facebook posts as to what is happening on the inside with this court case, because we were told that although big cameras are not allowed inside this court, but cell phones are allowed inside. So as soon as we get a clear understanding or a clear agreement between the court and us as reporters, then it will be clear and it will be known whether or not we will be allowed to go in and broadcast this whole process that is expected to unfold this morning. Ayanda?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we are able to glean what's taking place from inside. You've been at the court for quite some time, Nhlanhla, and it's so interesting because here at home there is so much of an interest in the story. If these suspects were appearing in any court in South Africa, I would have expected so much more activity outside. But you were telling the Morning Live team this morning that not the case in Eswatini, interestingly enough.
True, Ayanda. People literally just come to us and ask us, what are you guys here for? What is happening? What is this buzz all about? We're seeing cameras, we're seeing SABC News and other media houses. What is happening? And then we have to explain to them that no, it's the two suspects that are appearing here who are linked to the murder of AKA and Tibz back in South Africa. And to their surprise, many of them are shocked. I mean, yesterday when we spoke to some of their neighbors who lived with them when they moved around in this community, they were shocked that these two gentlemen, as they call them, that they were respectful, could be accused of such crimes as they have seen in the newspapers, as they've been seeing in the media outlets, that they are wanted and they have been arrested for such a crime. Some were even saying that they feel betrayed by these two guys because they lived with them for almost 6 months, greeting them, speaking to them, sharing meat together, praying every other day, only for them to find out that they are the ones linked to the murder of AKA. And they say that has hurt them a lot, because they had really brought close these guys to their hearts, saying they were respectful people, greeting them, normal people in the community. So some people here in Eswatini don't really know that these two men are appearing today. Some are just, as I said earlier on, are just asking us as they see. And as we walk inside the court behind me, people are looking at us and asking themselves what exactly is happening. But as you have mentioned, unlike back in South Africa, there is not much hype around this case. We saw a bit earlier on, and that gate down there, when we were there with the heavily armed men and the van coming in, we saw people coming in, only showing interest then at that time to check what is happening, because obviously they saw these heavily armed men and the big van and the small van, and also seeing us as media people trying to make our way down where we can get a better a view of who is coming out of these two trucks, or this one van and the truck that was coming in through that locked gate at the moment. However, interesting enough, there are two entrances in this court where we are currently standing, and at that gate where we saw earlier on during Morning Live, some suspects are actually dropped off here and they walk down this ramp into the court that side. Others are dropped off on the other side where the gate is locked. So we are not quite clear if those ones are those suspects that are wanted and dangerous versus the ones that are dropped off here are the ones that are here for petty crimes. So that's also what we're trying to get a better sense of. Earlier on, when we were standing here, a van with police came and dropped off suspects and they were escorted inside the court. Others were dropped off on the other side. But as I said earlier on, we are trying to make inroads, Ayanda, just to bring all these developments to the viewers at home as it unfolds here in Eswatini. Ayanda?
Nhlanhla Jele doing a great job of painting the picture for us for this very important story in Manzini. For now, thanks very much indeed. As soon as there's any other movements, we'll certainly dip into those visuals, get you a sense of what's being said, and more importantly, what the consequences are for the case in South Africa.